Okay. The rest of this will have voice to make it a little easier to explain stuff. So yeah, when you first enter the room, you'll probably get that stalactite falling cutscene. The test file I'm on already had that played out, but yeah, you just want to go defeat the enemy and then carry the thing on his back up here. Important to note, when we aim later on, we'll be using, see how there's like that point from the spike on the shell? We'll be using that to aim for this setup, so it's actually important that you see how it, one half of it is, let me back up. See how one half is low to the ground, like on the right side, and then the other side is kind of up off the ground? You want to pick it up from the low side. So like that. If we were to go around and pick it up on this side, then if we look up, like if you look up high enough, you can actually see through the shell. But the problem is we don't have that diamond thing pointing down to use as a visual cue. So you want to grab it from the low side so that we have that sort of arrow. Conveniently though, if you defeat the enemy, once he dies and the shell appears, it should always appear, at least in my experience, it should always appear with the low side facing you. So even if you kind of forget this, you'll probably have it you'll probably pick it up from the right side regardless, so. But okay. Alright, now let's talk about the lineups and everything. So after you jump down, you'll probably land either here. I usually just kind of aim up here and then walk off to the side. But what we want to do is get close to the edge here. And then as we're walking, we want to brush up against this wall to the left and have it drop us. If you see that X position is 8:17, we kind of want that to be like anywhere between 8:16, 8:17, 8:18 is fine. Even outside of that range is probably fine, but if it's not in that range, then either so like 8:15.9 is probably fine. If you're like walking too fast, or let's say you walk off in a different way, 8:19, that's probably okay. Sometimes you can get like, yeah, 8:25, so That's not really what we're aiming for, which is why I recommend walking off this way. Because it seems like an easier way to get a more consistent position, even if you have to aim more left when you go into first person. But once we're in this position, if you see the arrow, we can go up and down like that. It's a bit backwards to what you might expect, but and this angle's not like incredibly precise, but just to be consistent, because there is some variance in the position you end up in, as I showed just a second ago. But if you look on the top wall, see how there's that pillar? Like this pillar that starts there and then goes up to the ceiling? If you look where it hits the ceiling, there are these edges and there's a corner. So if you look at the bottom of the horn, or not horn, was it the spike on the shell? If you look how that comes down into a point, and then you see that point on the column on the wall. See how I just am lining those up? Just like that. Okay, so this is essentially the perfect position. If you're slightly off, like, I don't know, let's say something like that, that's probably fine as well. But just to show what the ideal position looks like, you want the 2 points to sort of perfectly line up like that. So once you're in this position, we can back out like that. And now let me do a save state. 1 second. Okay. So if I were to walk forward, see how I fall down? Or if I, yeah, just keep holding, then I'll start walking this way. So that's not actually what you want. You want to fully step up, which is why we just moved just barely left, sort of just tap left once, and then we'll get up here. And once we're in this position, oops, even if you do that, that's okay. But see, once we're in this position, we can kind of keep doing this, and we'll stay in about the same position. Right? So like, even though I've done that a million times, I'm still, my X position's at about 808. And if I fall, it's at 812. And then now it's at 809, 813. So you kind of stay in the same position. So if you accidentally step up, then you can fall back down and it's fine. If you accidentally step up an extra time. But we do want to be right up against this wall in front of us. Right now there's a gap, so if I kind of just, I would say tap, but it's kind of a hard tap because you want to make sure you're up against the wall. But you don't want to step up. So if you accidentally step up, it's fine, you just drop down and then do it again. Okay, our position right now is 807, which is a bit, normally we would be more like 810. So let me, okay, we're back here. And you want to, oops, sorry. This is before we move to the left a little. Okay, so just barely left and then up, down, and then shove against the wall. Okay, so we're at 809.66, or 67. This is around what we want. Basically 809 to 811 is kind of the ideal. And then from this position, you just release the stick and the, see how Link's swaying from the left to the right? Let's make another save state so we can test some different values. So he's swaying left and right, and there are different values for which this works, but usually what I kind of aim at is if you imagine when he's all the way to the left, imagine that's 0%. And then when he's all the way to the right, imagine that's 100%. And so I wait for him to bounce off the left and then reach maybe 25 to 45%. So you kind of want him to be in the motion of moving back to the right, but not past the midway point. And all we have to do is sort of, if you ever played Smash Brothers, you know how you do a smash attack, you hit on the stick and a button at the same time, and you do it kind of hard. That's essentially what we're going to do here. So hopefully I get this first one with how much I've been talking it up. But alright, so I'm going to wait for him to sort of bounce off the left side around 25%, and let's try. Okay. Yeah. And I kind of need to be more careful about that because I almost hit the A button while I'm doing that. If you're not careful, then you can do that. I think this is the right save state. Okay. Let's try it one more time. Okay, so that one was off. Yeah, there we go. And if you mess this up, all the stuff's right here, so it's not a huge deal. Let's try again. Okay. Yeah, I'd say I get it most of the time at this point. So. Oops. Okay. Yeah, it's not like super difficult, but okay. So now that I've tried to get values that work and have failed a couple of times, let's try to test some different sway positions that I expect to fail on purpose. So if we go all the way to the left, so see, that was when he was like all the way to the left. So that's supposed to fail. So that makes sense. Now we'll kind of test in the middle coming from the left side. So that worked out. And that worked out. I think that was just past the middle. Okay, that one worked out as well. Now let's try all the way to the right. That kind of worked. That's actually working okay. Let's try bouncing back from the right side. Okay, that one didn't work. So, yeah, there's different values, and the exact way it'll work can vary based on the angle and the position. So if we were to do this again, so we fall down, aim, right, okay, bearish. So, okay, so now we're at 8, 10, 98, and the angle and position. Okay, so now the stuff's slightly different, so let's try some more sway here. Okay, so that was coming back from the left side. All the way to the left. Yeah, I don't think all the way to the left side are going to work. So yeah, definitely avoid that. Let's try it in the middle coming from the left side. Okay, that worked out. Let's try a slightly past middle. Yeah, that didn't work. All the way to the right. That didn't work. Bouncing back. Okay, that worked. And that was middle from bouncing back. So, yeah, that's why, like in the previous one, all the way to the right worked, but it didn't work on this one. But the one that's kind of shared between the two is bouncing in from the left side and kind of approaching the middle from the left side. So that's why that's the sway position I normally aim for, is because you can get slight variations in like your position and angle with this setup. Because it's not the kind of thing where you can get like exact float, like the exact same float position and whatnot every single time. It's just very close, but not exact. And so there is a slight variance in the your position and angle, which means the exact sway positions that work, it will kind of vary slightly. And so we want to aim for the one that works in the most cases. So if you, let's say you have 3 different cases and one of them works in one case and the other one works in all 3 cases, then obviously you want to aim for the one that works in every case. Okay, I think probably have gotten the point across, but okay. So I've shown this in Heroes Clothing, or hero's clothes. Hero's clothes. Let's show it in Zora armor because that's like for rando specifically. That's probably going to be more of what you see. Also, I did want to mention, so you know how I said to aim such that you get the spike in front of you? It does work even if the shell is the like flipped 180, but it makes the aiming harder because you want to aim the same way, so it's easier if you have this gigantic arrow on the screen that ends in a point. That's like the perfect thing, and you can move it up and down, left and right. That's like the perfect tool for getting a very like the same angle every time. But okay, so doing this with Zora armor is exactly the same. Okay, so now that we're down here, I say that, and hopefully I don't mess it up. Actually, you know what? We'll make a save state. That way, even if I mess it up, it's fine. Okay. So here we go. Now we're at 810, 18, 15. Alright, so let's try this with Zora armor. And it should be exactly the same, it's just that the armor looks slightly different. Fortunately, the sway from left to right is still very easy to see, so... Alright, let's try to get this first try. There we go. Let's try a few more. We'll go middle. Okay, middle worked. All the way to the right didn't work. All the way to the left didn't work. So anyway, let's try to get this one. There we go. Okay, and when you fall down here, if you have Zora armor, you can just start swimming and it'll be quick. And we want to aim, like you don't want to aim directly underneath the door. Because, oops, here we go. Yeah, if you surface here, then there's no, yeah. Anyway, you saw what happened there. So I try to aim kind of here, and then you can just climb up. And in the videos earlier, I showed how you can get over to the chest, so I don't think we need to go over that again. I did want to mention, if you saw when I was swimming over here with iron boots earlier, I put on the collision viewer because there are some invisible walls, so I kind of want to aim, I want my Y position to be about at the bottom of this stalactite as I'm going forward, and if you pass just under the invisible walls like that, you'll get air refills if you heard those splashes. And so you should be able to do that just fine. Okay. Now let's talk about some ways that stuff can go wrong while you're doing this. So the first one is, let's say this enemy... Okay. Not quite. Yeah, so let's say this enemy... And see how the shell, the lower side should always face you. But let's say he ran down here, and you're like, oh crap, what do I do now? Well, you actually have two options. You can either go back up this way. So yeah, throwing the shell back up here is trivial. Or basically getting back to this exact same position is trivial, and then obviously you can do the, just continue with the trick. Alternatively, let's say the shell's down here and then you pick it up. You can also go this way. So the first one, I think you have to throw here. And then this one, you can step up. And then if you just sort of stand here and aim there, then you can throw it up. Oops, that was too far. Let's try that again. Okay, maybe I'll back up just a little more. Then yeah, you can throw it up here, and then from here, we're back in the position. So either one of those methods of getting over here will work. Let's see. Okay, and then also if you, for whatever reason, let's say you're trying to really rush, and like you just jump, you know, which I recommend taking your time with this trick, but even if something like that happens, you can make it back here, no problem. And then the last thing that I wanted to go over is if you clip back in bounds, so let's say you're going this way, and then, oh whoops, I made it back in bounds. Well, it's not the end of the world because you can just jump back here, pick up the shell, and try the trick again. So let's see if I can get it one more time. Oops. Yeah, not a big deal. There we go. But yeah, hopefully people see some success with this setup. Yeah, that'll be the end of the video. Thanks for watching.